Hello, my beloveds. It's Christina Martine. Welcome to the Cosmic Oracle podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about manifestation and magic. But first, let me give you a little update. I got out of an abusive relationship at the beginning of March, and I was not doing well. I was drinking all the time. I was severely upset, depressed, lost. But through that pain, I really began to find my power again. I started to reach out to people and go to see healers. I was going to yoga classes, sound healings. An old friend reached out to me and invited me to his meditation class. This is a friend who used to be an atheist, but was working with psychedelics, and now he is a spiritual shaman and meditation teacher and spends his days doing magic. And so I went to his class not knowing what to expect, with an open mind and heart, and we entered into a meditation, and he offered a microdose of 5-MeO DMT to me. And so I want to make it clear that this is not a podcast that is promoting drugs in any way. This is all for educational purposes. So I didn't really know what I was getting into, but it was a small dose. You vape it. And it was his own company. He had created these microdose vapes. And so it was very subtle. It was very peaceful. And it just helped my meditation process. I'm sure if you did a larger dose, it would be a different experience. But this was a beautiful, very peaceful, very subtle experience for me. And I didn't think much of it. It just helped me relax and meditate. And afterwards, I felt really, really good. But over the course of the next few days, the next few weeks, I realized that I stopped wanting to drink. And in fact, every time I tried to drink alcohol, I felt really sick. So it felt like, to me, 5-MeO DMT, which is one of the most potent psychedelics on the planet, I feel, opened me to the light. And once I had a taste of that light, I didn't want to go back to the darkness I had come from. It's like it reached down inside and pulled out the demons that the alcohol had put in my body. Now, I've been meditating for a long time. I'm no novice. I've sat hundreds and hundreds of hours in meditation and silent retreats. But this was a really subtle, beautiful, and powerful experience. And yeah, ever since then, I have not wanted to drink. And even when I try to drink, my vibration feels so low. I feel so awful after that. I just have no desire. I walk past liquor stores and I just do not want to drink. I've tried to go out and party with people, go back into that world, and I end up feeling like shit the next day. It does not appeal to me anymore. And this is so wild to me, because I've tried to be sober, but the call of alcohol has always pulled to me. And so after this one experience with this potent psychedelic, I have lost the desire to drink, which is insane to me because I had the most abusive relationship to alcohol. I would say at points in my life I was an alcoholic, and I was functioning, I was running my business, but I was always like, okay, well, I had a great day, I made money, now let's go drink a bottle of wine and just tune out to Netflix, right? I got better with it over time, but it was always something I kind of turned to when I was down. It wasn't like I needed it, but I enjoyed it. I told myself, oh, it's enjoyable to have wine, right? But then you overdo it and you realize it isn't about enjoyment if you're drinking a whole bottle of wine every night and you're all alone, right? It's an abusive relationship. And so this one experience sent me into, I wouldn't say a better, but a more aligned version of myself, more aligned with spirit, more aligned with the light. And it was such a powerful experience. I'm curious to learn more about this substance. So originally it comes from a frog, but nowadays it's synthesized mostly to avoid pain, right? Pain for the frogs. And the 5-MeO DMT is very different than DMT. Apparently, I have not tried DMT smoking it, but I have done ayahuasca. And the traditional DMT, you go more on a journey, apparently. You go to a world, you meet beings. The visuals on ayahuasca for me were very, very intense. And you're like catapulted into another world. Whereas the 5-MeO DMT, you are more so peaceful. But I have not tried a higher dose, so I can't speak on it 100%, but I'm curious about it. And I'm speaking on this today because this one experience, this very mild, subtle experience, helps me heal things that I have been struggling with for decades, I would say. And so that's been an amazing upgrade, alignment, powerful shift in my perspective. And it's made me want to explore this more and gather people to me, create ceremony, create spiritual community because it is so potent and powerful. And so I'm thinking about how to do that lately in my life. And what this experience has kind of reminded me of is there is a better way to live, but we have to face the darkness, and there's different tools in order for us to face that darkness. Meditation, of course, is one of them. Another thing that you can do to really cleanse yourself of the demons, right? Your darkness, is to look inside and ask yourself, what is it that I really want to do? And so recently I got this idea because I was kind of done with my other music project to create a band. And I had some resistance around it because I was going to meet up with this random person that I met on Craigslist. But I did it anyway, and it turned into something really magical. And I've been hanging out with this one person once a week for the last month, and we've been creating together. And the act of entering into creation with another person is so spiritual. It's so divine. Having someone there with me while I'm creating, kind of creating a space so my feminine energy, my Shakti energy can just flow, has been surreal, has been divinely ecstatic for me. And it's really what I've been missing in my life. And it activated me so intensely after this experience of having someone just want to like hear my heart, hear my songs, feel my soul. It really activated my heart. And after meeting this person, I spent quite a few days, maybe a week, in this really heart expanded place that I like to call Christ consciousness or Krishna consciousness. And I was just, really happy and feeling lots of love in my heart and seeing the world in a different way, almost like being in love, right? And reading poetry and really feeling it and just seeing the world like in this beautiful way, rose-colored glasses way. And I was there for a while. It was almost like this manic episode. I was like, oh my God, how can I contain this energy? But that's why we create, right? We have to let it out. During this time, I was receiving this information. And so we know, right, if we're on the spiritual path, that we're meant to rise our energy up our spine and send that Shakti energy to meet Shiva awareness in the crown chakra. And so I got this download while I was in this state that, yes, that's the process. And we're always kind of moving through alchemy, moving up the chakras, going back down again. But we're meant to draw that energy from the crown back into the heart in this Ankh symbol to create this Christ consciousness, this balanced Christ consciousness of feminine and masculine. And as we center our energy in the heart, energy gets magnetized from below again, right? And so the womb energy, the feminine energy gets magnetized in the heart, along with the head energy coming down to create this balance of Sophia and Yeshua in the heart. And so I've been talking about this quite a bit, trying to explain my visions, my channelings, kind of like this Venusian Mary Magdalene rose path. I mean, the Egyptians knew this, right? They would practice Tantra and they would send their energy up their spine, and on orgasm, they would breathe and send that energy over their head, ankhing it into the heart to create youth, immortality. Well, perhaps not immortality, but to help sustain their lives and make them healthy and live a long time, right? And so this feeling, this activation came from a desire to create, a desire to make music. And I've been trying this new thing where I do things even though I feel resistance, right? Maybe the universe provides me with an opportunity or a path, And I do it anyway, even if I feel a little resistance, because I know that the universe knows better than me or my ego, right? And this brings so many new gifts and so much beauty into our lives. And so there's a big difference in us adhering to egoic desires, for money, for power, for fame, whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with these things, but if we're, taking dark paths, if we're hurting other people to get these desires, and we're not going deeper into the heart and asking, how can I serve? We're going to suffer, right? And so I wrote this book called Sacred Desires, and it didn't do so well because I think people are a little confused about desire, and we don't equate desire with spirituality. We're told to ignore our desires. We want to be, free of desire. But my assertion, right, my perspective is release the ego and move into the heart. When you're in this Christ consciousness, this balanced Christ consciousness, the desire to create is still there. The desire to share and serve this world is still there. And your heart will magnetically draw opportunities to you. And this is where you have to say yes, even though there may be resistance. Because when you do, you learn, you grow, your capacity to love, to share, to create grows. And so many doors and so much beauty is created. And I think that's really why we're here, right? We're here to remember that we're all the same force of love, and we're here to tap into that heart-centered place, that love and that light, and to express it and to serve. And the more we do that, the more the channel opens, the more we can share. And so our desires become much bigger than us. Our desires become much bigger than just, attaining things and trying to feed our separate self, the illusion of self, right? They become acts of service and expression, divine expression. And so I want to go over manifestation and magic today and tell you what I have learned and tell you how I manifest from a place of truth. So a lot of people say that manifestation is a form of black magic and we shouldn't be tapping into these kinds of gifts, but life isn't so black and white. Yes, trying to force the universe to adhere to your ego isn't the best use of your time and can lead to disastrous results. Tapping into your innate creative abilities and your will to co-create with life, with the universe, with God is your right. I see magic as an act of creation. So when you sit down at your computer to write your novel, this is a form of magic, of using your God-given gifts to create. Where is all this magic coming from? The formless realm of pure potential from which we all arise. So is it coming from us at all? No, and yes. So I believe we're born with gifts that we're meant to share. But if we get caught up in our traumas or egos, we can spend our entire lifetimes ignoring signs from a higher place, this higher place. We all have a destiny, but it's up to us to carve that path and walk it. And when I'm thinking about expression and creativity, I'm also understanding that I have been given these gifts by God. And when I get to create and share them, that's me honoring God. So I'm creating for myself, for my enjoyment, and for God. And that's pretty much it. As an artist, as a creator, we have to kind of step outside people's opinions because in the end, they don't really matter. It's none of our business anyway. People will just project onto you from their distortions. So if we continue to share from a heart-centered place, things are really going to work out and we're going to draw the right people to us, people who will help serve us, people who need our service. So we have something that separates us from animals, our will, our ability to think and choose things beyond what we see. We have this amazing ability to imagine what our futures could hold. I personally know that we're all very psychic, even if we've been taught otherwise or have lost touch with our gifts. So what would happen if you learned to activate your spiritual sight? If you could see into your own future? Would you perhaps get a little more excited about it? What if I told you that you could even send energy from your future self back in time to your current self to help you manifest your dreams? I know this sounds very magical, but I'm here to remind you that life is magical. You're a walking, breathing miracle. Before we get into some exercises, let me be very clear. This kind of work isn't about calling in some higher power, calling on some higher power. to feed your ego. But that being said, your desires, the desires of your heart, are sacred. What you desire, truly desire beyond any judgments or limitations imposed upon you, is sacred. Those desires you have to create a juicy life filled with exciting adventures are God-given, as long as you don't attach to them to create a sense of self, right? And so I think about this on another perspective, like how many people have kind of given up on their dreams because other people have told them that they can't do that, or maybe they're telling themselves that, and they're kind of shoving away these gifts that they have inside of them because they're stuffing themselves into the system, right? We all do this to a certain extent. We kind of shove away our light because we have responsibilities, we have bills to pay, we have jobs to go to, we have kids to feed. So what if we spent some time actually asking ourselves what we really wanted? And what if by honoring those gifts, the pathway became clear to us, right? What if by taking that courageous step of taking action in the direction of your dreams, the doorway was opened? So this is a rule that you should practice with any magic or intention. Once you decide that something is so, you trust that it is so. How can you tell the difference between an ego-driven desire and a God-given gift that you wish to share with the world? It's important to witness what results you want out of the desire. Desires are natural human things. We get them all the time. You want a sandwich, so you make one to fulfill your hunger. But when you start eating, when you're not hungry, what are you feeding? The same thing goes with any kind of manifestation work. If you're creating from a place of lack, thinking that something on the outside is going to complete you or somehow make you better than others, you're moving into the dark arts, and this will not end well. I'm in the kind of perspective now that we are in this kind of neutral simulation, and we can create whatever we want. Obviously, moving toward the heart and love and creation and expression and beauty and compassion for others is good. It feels good. And moving away from that and hurting others is wrong. It feels wrong. But in the end, right, we get to choose. We get to choose our life. And instead of this like black and white system where something is wrong and something is right, we get to choose our morals. There is cause and effect. There is a kind of karma, but it's based on what we put out into the universe, right? Our intentions. And we get to choose. And so maybe you have to spend some time really looking at your own morals and what you're feeding, right? To get clear so you can cast your magic from a place of purity in alignment with the highest good of all. So you want to get really clear, right? If you desire to become a singer, for example, if you want to sing because it brings you joy and others joy, you're on the right track. If you're trying to do something to complete yourself, then you're feeding your ego this illusory idea that you're a separate being. If you desire money, that's okay, but let me get real, right? You don't actually desire money. You desire what money can bring you. So money is a tool. To get your creative juices flowing, what would you do if you had $1 million right now? What are the kind of things that money could bring you? These are the kind of things that you want to be focusing on and embodying in the present to allow the money to magnetize to you. If you get really excited about what you're going to create with the tool of money, money will be magnetically drawn to you. And you may have to go into some deeper work with money and heal some unconscious beliefs surrounding it if you grew up with some beliefs that it was evil or wrong or people around you were complaining about it. There's tons of work you can do to align with money and recognize that it is an energy, and you can call it into your life. You can be grateful for it. You can align with it. You can thank it like a god or goddess. You can ask it to serve you. You can be so grateful for everything that it does for you. And if you're uncomfortable with the word or you feel like this isn't spiritual, that's another level of work that you may want to inquire into, because let's face it, unless you want to go to the mountains and live like a monk, you got to align with it in order to be in this system, right? And to do work in the world to help real people. Money is a tool that can do amazing things or evil things. You get to choose. I would personally pay off any debt, get health and beauty treatments, travel the world, performing, making music videos, songs, vlogging, meeting people. I would probably buy a cabin somewhere on the island here close to Vancouver so I could write and have my cute little author lifestyle, West Coast lifestyle, I would also travel to South America and have experiences there, go to India, study spirituality, go to Asia, go to Europe, invest, and just let the money keep rolling in over time. So let's enter into a meditation now to practice using our inner vision. So if you're driving and stuff, maybe just put this away for later. The more we're able to hold images in our mind, the better we become at manifesting. So when we visualize our dreams, we need to imagine we're living them in the present, even if they feel far away. When it comes to the truth of what we really are, spiritual beings, we are already one with what we desire. So it's not about pushing or chasing, it's more about aligning with the frequency in the present moment. The universe works like a mirror. You can't just wait for things to happen or say things like, if it's meant for me, it'll find me. You need to embody that which you desire now. So I work with the elements often in ritual settings because they are the building blocks of life. As an alchemist, it's a good idea to start working with them too. Take a walk in the park and spend some time with the trees. Ask them how they stand so tall and strong amidst the storms. Ask the water how it's always flowing and new. Ask the wind how it's so powerful and yet formless. Ask the sun how it shines without want for anything in return. All the answers you need can usually be found within nature and inside your own body, in your own heart. So for this little exercise, we're going to safely open your third eye chakra. So to do this, we're going to open up the root chakra and the heart. The third eye naturally opens, and we're going to do some sounding. We're going to repeat some sounds. We're going to close our eyes, and we're really just going to move some energy in our body. So make sure you have some quiet time, the space to do this, or pause this podcast and come back to it. You want to just close your eyes and just take some deep breaths. Imagine gold light from above you entering the crown of your head, entering in your heart area. Send that light down through your feet into the center of the earth. Suck that energy back up into your heart and then send it out into the center of source. Breathe in from above and below into your heart. And just feel centered in your body. Now focus on your root chakra, your perineum, right? And you can even put your hands very low on your body. Make sure you're grounded. If you have a grounding crystal, you can place it beneath you, low on your body once again. Ground your energy. This is imperative for opening the third eye. You need to have an open root chakra, or you can go a little crazy, right? So you can choose to sit on your hand as well as you meditate and breathe energy into your root chakra, breathe red light into this area. And some sounds for this area are lam or hey. So let's take a breath and try that. Breathe red light into your head, down your arms, shoot that energy into your root chakra. You can be sitting on your hand or just sending your hands low on your body and repeat, hey, as you imagine it opening and feel it vibrating. Send white light now into your chest. Your hands go to your lungs area, to your heart chakra. And you're going to shoot white light down your head and through your arms, your hands into your lungs. And you're going to say, ah, or you can also say, yum, and feel these centers vibrating. You can do these exercises as many times as you want to feel aligned and open. Once you feel like your root and heart chakras are open, your third eye will naturally open. It doesn't have to be this complicated thing. If you try to open up your third eye and shoot energy there, you can get a little ungrounded. You can enter into psychosis. So be very careful. Spiritual psychosis. Be careful. Make sure you ground yourself and work on your heart center to see results. So now you're going to raise your hands in the lotus position in front of your heart. Close your eyes and imagine light entering your heart, traveling up your body to your third eye and shooting out into the center of source or whatever you see for that, and back again into your heart. So you're going to be breathing into your heart, shooting energy out your third eye. You can send it to the sun, you can send it to God, you can send it to the galactic core, whatever feels comfortable. And just continue doing this, breathing in to your heart, sending it out your third eye into the universe and back again. And once you're ready, we're going to repeat some commands. So breathe in, send the energy up and out your third eye and say, I command that my third eye is now safely open. Have another breath and cycle. I am in divine communication with the universe. One more cycle. I use my psychic vision to serve the highest good of all, and so it is. Continue to sit and breathe, cycling your energy for as long as feels comfortable. You can also choose to send your gaze between your eyes to close the meditation. Hold this pose for as long as feels comfortable. And so if you've ever done some Kundalini yoga where you're breathing a lot and awakening your energy and your chakras, we usually end by sending our eyes up to the third eye, and this puts us in a state of sovereignty. And it helps to keep the center open, helps to keep us aware of it. And so we're going to do another meditation now. So make sure that you have some space to do this, some time, some quiet. And we are going to look into our future. So take some slow, deep breaths and settle into your seat. So close your eyes and say aloud, I call upon the element of air for clear communication and vision. I call upon the element of fire to burn away any fear and to ignite my spirit. I call on the element of water for flow, renewal, and compassion. I call on the element of earth for stability, abundance, and strength. May my highest guides and angels be present with me. May I walk with Christ and Sophia activated in my heart, in alignment with the highest good of all. And so it is. And you can invoke anything that you feel called to. And so keep your eyes closed now, feeling safe and protected. And imagine that you are in a beautiful meadow filled with lush green grass, colorful wildflowers and butterflies. There is a balmy breeze in the air, and the temperature is perfect for you. The scent of roses wafts through the air, and you feel so safe and protected here in this sacred space, all your own. The sun beams down on your skin as you sink your toes into soft moss. You see a pool of water before you, and you can feel its magic even from afar. You walk forward and see that the water is pearlescent and shining with rainbow brilliance. This is an enchanted pool that will show you your highest dreams and destiny. You look forward into the pool, and you suddenly feel your spirit pulled inside the waters. But you can breathe. And time is suspended momentarily. You're in this one perfect moment, in a place beyond time where you can access any version of you. You open your eyes and see that you're now aligned with your highest destiny. What are you doing? What are you wearing? Who are you with? Where are you? How do you feel? Ask this version of you to send its exact energetic frequency into your present body, your physical body. Revel in this beautiful reality that is now yours. Feel yourself pulled back out onto the grass, out of the water, and see that the pool is now rainbow waters once more. Walk back to the mossy spot in the meadow and sit down to enjoy the sun. On the count of 3, I'm going to snap, and you'll open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. So take a moment to write down anything you saw, paying attention to what you experienced sensually. What did you smell or taste? What did you see, hear, or sense? Most importantly, what did you feel internally? What were the top 3 emotions you felt during this glimpse into your future? Write them down. For example, when I look into my future, I feel powerful, rich, and free. And so there's an exercise you're going to do now, and using your vision as a guide. So if you need to stop and write before you continue, do that now. Create a collage that you can use on your desktop, or you can print it if you feel like it, to remind you of the reality you're creating every day. Use your 3 feeling keywords as inspiration as well. You may want to put them into this vision board, right? This collage. Since you must speak in the present to manifest, what would your daily affirmation be for your dreams? For example, mine would be, "Isn't it wonderful? I'm powerful, rich, and free. I'm traveling the world doing what I love most." Set a daily alarm to remind you of what you're calling in. And if you're having issues with money or with your health or with love or whatever you're working on, this is an excellent practice to help you constantly, keep your thoughts aligned. And you want to be working on these thoughts during meditation, because essentially all magic, right, is accessing the subconscious mind and shifting it, because the subconscious mind is like the generator, the engine, right? And it affects the conscious mind, and it sends out energy into the world and magnetizes what we desire to us. That's what we have to adjust in order to manifest. If you go online, Canva is a great tool that you can use to design your collage with. You can find a template there that calls to you and fill it with your own photos or ones you find online. Make sure your photos are royalty free if you share them online, right? And so you want to take action. Once you're very clear on what it is you want, you have to keep the frequency with you. Have your daily reminder set on your alarms, look at your collage, do your meditation practices, your guided visualizations, whatever works for you. All of this will help to shift you internally so your subconscious begins to really believe in your new reality. It becomes encoded in there, right? And then you start to make choices based on that, on your beliefs. So ask yourself, what are the steps to get to my goal? And list them out and look at them. What action can you take today to move on to that path? Who can you connect with to help bring your dreams to life? How can you immerse yourself in your new reality? And perhaps most importantly, what will you do to stay on your new vibration and continue to take action even when things get tough? Will you schedule in meditations and downtime to not fall into burnout, right? Will you track your wins in a journal? How will you respond to the stress that arises on the path? How will you remember that your dreams are sacred and meant to be shared? Muse on this for a bit. And it's important to remember that this isn't about living in la la land and just hoping that things will happen. We have to take inspired action, and that often comes from connection and networking. Connection equals currency in the energetic and monetary sense. And this doesn't mean that we have to be buddy-buddy with everyone, but logically, making money is solving problems, and you're going to be working with people, right? You're going to be serving someone to generate what you desire. And so think about that, and also think about the fact that you need to make your goal bigger than yourself. Focus on who you're serving and remind yourself daily of what you're doing to help the world become a better place. If you're working directly with people in some way, reach out to them. Tell them what you're doing. Seek out guidance and mentors on the path. Tell people what you're doing and ask them to address you with your new title. Ask your friends, right, to remind you of what you're doing, to hold you accountable to your dreams, to help program that subconscious mind. And think of it this way, right? If you're not doing this kind of work, what is programming your subconscious mind? What have you been programming your subconscious mind with? Movies, social media, school, your friends' opinions, right? What's actually going on in there? Even if you're not going to use these practices to manifest some huge big goal, at least start to get curious about what's actually going on underneath the surface. So for example, ask yourself, what are 5 ways I'm helping people with this gift that I'm sharing with the world? Because once you know the why, the what becomes a lot more accessible. So for example, with my desire to share music, I get to bring people together so we can transcend the mind, enter into the heart, unite together, raise our consciousness, vibrate at a higher frequency, step into a new way of living and loving, right? What are you doing to make this world a better place? Why is your unique vibration so important and needed on the planet now? Why did you really come here? What do you really desire to express? And what needs to be released in your life? What toxic habits, people, jobs, whatever, what needs to go? You don't have space for that on this path. And finally, you can use these techniques to stay high vibe even when things around you aren't so shiny. This is the part that becomes quite tricky. This isn't about being delusional or unsympathetic or narcissistic, right? This is about recognizing that it is your right to feel joyful and dignified. And your natural state is joyous, it is curious, it is free, it is a state of presence and enlightenment. So don't let society get you down or tell you that you aren't powerful. You are powerful beyond imagination. Your unique perspective is needed, and you came here encoded with many gifts that are meant to be shared with the world. If you catch yourself falling into outdated thinking loops, you fall off the wagon a bit and you end up hurting yourself in some way, take some deep breaths, repeat your mantras, know that the highest version of you already exists and is waiting for you to align with them now. And so thank you so much, beautiful soul. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it inspired you. Feel free to leave me a comment. What did you learn? What are you curious about? What are you manifesting? Thank you so much. And if you want to work with me, I do offer healing sessions, books, courses. You're welcome to take a look at my services. Thank you once again, and have a beautiful day. Bye.